thought his kids played with a lot of confidence early on, and it showed. And they gave us everything we could want more. I thought, our guys played a little bit like fat cats tonight. It's disappointing, but we're going to have to correct some things. Before we move on, we got a big game on Saturday against Richmond, and we're certainly not a perfect team by any means. And if anybody thought we were going to roll through this league because we were undefeated coming in 5 games into the conference season, including our players and our coaches, that's ludicrous. We didn't play great on the defensive end by any stretch of the imagination. It's up to us to correct that and correct it fairly soon. Play a very talented Richmond team. I thought GW had a lot to do with the score tonight. Carl's team plays extremely hard.
What do you mean your team played like fat cats?
Well, January 6th, we got our heads knocked in by Cincinnati. And, I'm getting tweets, that we're the worst, Xavier team in 50 years. And, nobody listened to that stuff. We just continue to get better. We continue to progress. And it really showed over the next, few games. We didn't listen to anybody, and we continue to get better. And now the opposite, has to take place, can't take place, that we start listening to everybody that tells us how good we are. Everywhere I go, if I get lunch, if I go out with my wife for dinner, people come up, Coach, man, you guys are awesome. You're doing a great job with those kids. Well, 5 games into the conference season, last time I checked, we got 16 of those things. So we've got to be mature. We've got to be able to handle success. Handling success is just as much, is just as important as handling adversity. And, God knows our teams handle a lot of adversity. Well, now we've got to handle success. And I thought, again, I don't want to take away anything from Coach Hobbs and GW. They did a great job. They played extremely hard, but I just don't think we were who we need to be if we want to be the team we want to be.
Was that your message at halftime as well?
No.
Message at halftime. After they put up 40 points in the first half, coming in, what was your message?
I just talked a lot about defense at halftime. And again, I thought GW was, they were getting looks in transition. They were wide open, which means we didn't make the effort to run back defensively. We didn't know in a couple instances who we were guarding. That happens in October and November, not the end of January. And just as a funny feeling. I'm sure if you were a fan, it was a funny feeling. Like, how's the best shooter in the gym outside of Redford get open from 3 on 1 pass off of a dead ball? It just those type of mistakes can't be made this late in the season, and we have to correct those.
Did those kind of letdowns surprise you, considering that's been your emphasis for the last 2 practices and the last 2 games?
No, because even though it's my emphasis, I don't know if it's been our kids' emphasis. I don't know how important it was. It's hard to take coaching criticism when you're winning. It really is, and that's what mature teams do. Basketball teams, football teams, baseball teams. Even if you're playing well, you can continue to improve. You can continue to get better. And not that our guys were defiant or full of themselves, but I think that edge was missing. The edge we had against Rhode Island, because again, we got our heads knocked in, and the only people we had were each other. Well, now start listening to people that are telling you how good you are. You didn't listen to them when they told you were terrible. Well, why do they have all the answers now?
So what was the difference in the second half? Really, in the last 5 minutes is maybe in the last 5 minutes that the tides changed.
Well, I give a lot of credit to our fans. They energized the arena down the stretch. I also thought that I thought we played well offensively. I thought we really shared the ball. I think our problems were on the other end of the floor. But I thought offensively we had 17 assists, we had 10 turnovers, a team that presses, traps. They must have 58 different defenses out on the floor. We were able to handle those. And, Jamel and Kenny didn't quite have the numbers maybe you'd expect against a smaller team, but a large part of that is because they were getting post-trapped, and they were making the correct decision of getting the ball out when they were double-teamed, and we were making GW pay to score 81 points, and they're a good defensive team. Look at their defensive numbers coming in. I was pleased with that, and I thought the difference was we were able to handle their pressure down the stretch and make plays and get to the free throw line and make free throws.
As a coach, how do you strike that balance of keeping your team humble and not paying attention and buying into maybe their success and believing the accolades?
I don't know if I had that answer. I'd probably write a book and sell it, because I think every coach goes through that kind of thing. And, you know, different teams have different personalities, and some are very veteran-like, and they've been there before, and they understand it. You don't have to maybe use analogies and stories and past experiences as a coach to relay those things to your kids. And sometimes you have to, you know, and sometimes you have younger guys that maybe were role players on teams. And I think that's who we were a little bit, you know, besides maybe Terrell and Jamel. Not a lot of guys have had primary roles on past teams. So we'll get there, but I think tonight, lesson learned, hopefully. And, you know, I'd rather win and learn than lose and learn.
UW came in with a big offensive rebounding advantage. They ended up 15, you guys ended up 17. You just talked about what they were doing on the offensive glass.
Well, they're very athletic. You know, they played with a lot of desperation. Halftime, I thought we had you know, really held them in check on the offensive glass. But it's easy to hold a team in check on the offensive glass and they make every shot. You know, there are no offensive boards. But in the second half, you know, they started missing. They did a good job of flying to the glass. Until I watched the film, I'm not sure who missed blockouts and things of that nature. But we've been a pretty good rebounding team. And again, GW coming into the game, I don't know what their margin was, but I know at one point it was plus 10. So you know, they're a very good rebounding team. That's not going to change in 16 league games.